Ladies and gentlemen, it's Vibes from the Six Premier League Prediction Show, and I got a good one for you. We got the Derby Day. We're going to be talking about Manchester Derby, North London Derby. We're going to be talking about Chelsea, Graham Potter out. What's going on at Chelsea? We're going to be talking about Liverpool. Are they going to be signing any more players? Rakesh is going to be coming through. We're going to have my guy, City fan. As you guys know, sometimes it's tough to find them. But we got my guy Vader coming in. We got Fatur here. We got Faz in the house. And we got Jay coming in. Let's get this show started. Y'all already know what it is. Kitty G on Egal Talks Football. Let's get the show going. Yes, people. What's going on? How's everyone doing today? We got a different panel today. We got Fatur in the house, filling in for the Chelsea boys. We got my guy Faz in the house, Man United. I think this is the first time on my channel. Am I mistaken? Big up for Faz for coming on first.
Yeah, it's the first time. Yeah, thank you for having me, man.
If you guys don't know, Fatur, season ticket holder at Chelsea, goes all the time. Big up to him. We got Faz here in the house, season ticket holder for Man United. Big up to him. We got match-going fans in the house, guys. People always calling me an armchair. I go to games too, just not as much as them. Right? And we got Jay. Jay's going to get sorted out in a second. But yeah, people in the chat, let me know how you guys are doing. We got Gunnar King in the house. We got Dennis in the house saying, big up Egal. Where's Jay? He better be here today. He's here. Khalid's in the house saying, big up Egal. Going to be a lit stream. Faz, come on. Yeah, Faz, you got your own people. You got Real Madrid fans supporting you today.
Okay. Yeah, man. We got fans from all over the world, baby.
There you go, because of Casemiro, right? Am I wrong? Ronaldo. But yeah, you know what? Since the Casemiro conversation we've had, he's been absolutely lighting up the Premier League, man. Someone was trying to have a conversation to me today about Casemiro or Rodri, and I had to say to them, Casemiro, man. But you know what? I'm still saying Partey's balling. Let's just enjoy both of them for now. But we'll have that conversation next week. But yeah, Chelsea, that's where we're going to begin. And Rakesh, welcome for joining us. How are you?
Hey, sorry for my tardiness. Good to see you.
You're good. Vader's the one that's late, not you. But yeah, let's start with, if you guys don't know, Fatur had a viral video today. Fatur is the guy who posted that video of seeing his manager getting escorted from the stadium to the point where every single major publication reached out to him to see if they could post that video on their timeline. Now, if you haven't seen the video, let me just play it. Chelsea fans supporting the manager.
We got you, Gakpo. Trust you. Don't give up, bro. The best manager in the world, bro. You'll win the Champions League. Go on, Potter. We believe, bro. Keep the faith. Change the squad. They're the problem, man. Don't give up. Don't give up. Super Graham Potter.
God almighty, Lewis, man.
The players are the ones that
flipping out Lewis, man. Oh my days.
What?
Gotta take my jacket off with Graham Potter.
Nah, talk to me. We're gonna start with Chelsea and Graham Potter right away because you guys are losing a lot of games. 9 out of your last 9 games, you've lost 7, won 1, drawn 1 in your last 9 games.
You know what? Yeah,
that bad.
I thought we were the better side in the first half. Even with João Felix here, we should have buried that chances. And then again, like you have Mount and Havertz literally playing like a kindergarten boys and make Felix look more smarter in the classroom. It's insane how bad we are as an attacker, but Felix makes them look like an amateur, man. And by the time before like half time, everything, the spacing was poor in that first half. Aspilicueta get caught up. Willian literally just shooting inside the box, just trying to shot and goal, man. That's 1-0 already, and it was kind of toxic in the away end. And I feel like some of the fans they've seen enough, and it's just getting to a point where this is not only manager issue anymore. Though I feel like this is more of a player power, and I've been speaking about player power for weeks now. This is not the first time we've seen this in Chelsea for since Tuchel days. You know, it's been happened since Conte, it happened since Lampard days, and also since like Sarri days as well.
Even Mourinho, right? Mourinho in final season. I mean, obviously completely different players, but the second stint, it seemed like the players pretty much down tools.
You know what? It's easy to blame the leadership because I feel like it cannot be quantified. Therefore, you don't have to face the harsh truth. But then, if you have a problem, blame it on the leadership, and nobody will question about it. And do you know what? The crazy thing is, it's like we've signed a bunch of players that don't want to be in this team. The only leader that we've lost is Rudiger, and his loss alone cannot explain the catastrophe behind the scenes. The truth is, we've suffered from a drop in quality for a while now, and the fact we've been, you know what? It's hard to explain as well. Like it's kind of like this dysfunctional at times in our squad.
I've got a theory. Yeah, I like a theory. Everyone knows I like a theory.
Jay always has a theory.
I do always have a theory. I mean, that's the best thing about theories. They get disproven. You're like, whoa, it's just a theory. It's not a take, it's a theory. So my theory about Chelsea is it reminds me, it does actually remind me a bit of Spurs. Like everything always reminds me of Spurs. But after we got to the Champions League final, there was a decline in the player, and some of them it just happened like that. And you've got the declining players, but above all, Potter reminds me so much of Moyes at United. So much of Moyes at United. It feels identical. Whether people, you might think about the aesthetics, but think about how Moyes spoke when he was in charge of United. Think about how the results. Think about the fact that everybody was well aware that there needed to be a rebuild, but still, the results got to a point where they were so bad, people were like, you know what? Doesn't even matter about he's not the person to take us forward. And I think when you look at Brighton as well, it's an interesting one as well, because again, similar. Everton, when Moyes went to United, Martinez went to Everton. All of a sudden, Everton started scoring more goals than they were scoring under the previous manager. Now, when you look at it from that point of view, I expect a drop-off next season of Brighton when they lose some of the stability that Potter instilled in the team. Some of it's reflex at the moment. So when De Zerbi fully has his tactics in, I expect their defense to drop off a reasonably high amount because it's still what do you call it? It's DNA, right? So I know, nice ringtone, isn't it? So just to finish that on Potter, right? I'm looking at it, and he's come in, and his style of play is not necessarily a banger. It's not going to knock you out. It's a controlled style of play, and even at Brighton, his team had trouble scoring goals. How can your team have trouble scoring goals, and then somebody comes in, and all of a sudden your team can score goals? Like no difference in players, it's the same players, and now your team is scoring goals. I can't see that as being anything other than a criticism against Potter, in my personal opinion. It's the same players. So when I put all of that together, it's a worry. It's a big worry because you replaced your Champions League winning manager with a guy that got Brighton 8th.
Let me just stop you there. I was just going to bring in Faz in. One second. I've just been quiet. Faz, what are you thinking about Chelsea? Does it remind you of anything about Manchester United?
No, because Graham, as much as the brother here is comparing Graham Potter to Moyes' reign, Graham Potter has never fished on this side of the ocean, ever. His even player career, he's played for the likes of, with all due respect, he's played for the likes of Boston and Macclesfield. He's never faced a stadium of 70,000, 80,000 under his power. Never. And you've asked him to go from Brighton, and I said this to all these football pundits. I remember the day that Graham Potter was assigned. I just sat there saying, what happens when you give such a man such astonishing amount of power of a vehicle that they've never even been in? They've never been an assistant manager of something this big, a spaceship this big, on a season where a new owner on a season where the manager that is supposed to take them forward got sacked over whatever reason, and on a season where the new owner has absolutely gone and shelled out every pound of money that he could. Listen, no club wants an American owner right now, okay? So Todd is doing everything in his power to make sure his fan base love him. And there is no form of concern. Nobody wants an American owner.
Do you love him?
Todd is doing everything. Todd is doing everything that he can. Now you give this guy £330 million asset when Brighton together wasn't even worth £330 million. Never in Brighton's history. And Graham is sat there thinking, how do I utilize Raheem Sterling, one of the best winger forwards in the league? And in the same season, he's got Aubameyang. In the same season, he had to loan out Lukaku. In the same season, now he's brought in João Felix. João Felix, 11 million, is probably as much as how much he spent on buying players in Brighton. And this man's got such big responsibility. I think Graham overstepped, overreached. People credited him way more than they needed to, simply because Brighton are in a good position in their history. And people thought, yeah, Graham is such a good manager. But he hasn't done anything to show that he can manage an organization that size, and he's well out of his depth. He's not got the experience, and you're seeing it now. And they listen, time will eventually make him play better anyways, because the players will believe in the system. Because when things are going wrong, the first thing that happens is the players stop believing in the manager. That's where really you lose the dressing room, and that's where really things start going south. And eventually, Graham will win them over. You know, he might need a strong preseason or whatever with the players, and then the players start believing in it. But it's going to take a long time at this rate. And I don't think Chelsea fans or Todd himself have that patience when you're spending nearly £500 million on a squad.
Let's bring Rakesh in. Rakesh, what were you going to say?
I don't put a lot of this on Potter. He's been dealt a difficult hand. We know that as Fatou said earlier, there's been a history of player power, and let's not beat about the bush. Like, the end of Tuchel's reign wasn't good. Now you could say again, is that more of a player thing? Is that maybe Tuchel wasn't getting the best? Maybe Tuchel had lost a dressing room or something like that. But I think a lot of the restructuring that Chelsea have done behind the scenes, and the people they've brought in, like the scouts, the director of football, the recruitment team they brought in, they have a good track record. And Potter is the right guy to maximise them on the playing side, because let's not make any bones about it. The Abramovich era, whilst successful, I don't think you would necessarily say that Chelsea were a very, very well-run club. They were just a very, very rich club. Like, I remember Emanalo, when Emanalo was the director of football there, Chelsea's recruitment was excellent. I think that since Emanalo left, pretty much, the recruitment hasn't been at the same level. But if you've got a lot of money to spend, then you can afford failures. You can afford a Lukaku not making it, or you can afford other players not making it, because you'll just buy the next best thing, in a few years' time. I said at the start of the season, the most difficult thing for Chelsea fans to deal with is not the cultural change about the ownership group coming in, and whether they're Americans or any other nationality. It's the Chelsea fans over the last 20 years have had an entitlement, I guess you could call it, or they expect to win. Now Chelsea are even though they spent a lot of money, they are not going to be run in the same way as Abramovich ran it. And this like all this money that's being spent, I don't think is going to continue at the same level. I think Bowley wanted to come in and bring good players in, and that hasn't quite worked. But you need to give them time. I think Potter needs time, and I think Potter is a good manager, and he has all the characteristics and facets, and even though he hasn't done it at a super high level, to take Brighton and Hove Albion to 8th place in the Premier League is a fucking achievement. That is an achievement. These guys haven't been in the Premier League, in the top division for decades, and to take them to 8th on the budget, and I don't get me wrong, it's not just Potter, because it's also the recruitment team, all the guys in the background, they helped support it. But that Potter has proved in that sense, if you get the right support structure around, he can do well. And I think, give him time, I think he'll do okay. But the question is, are the Chelsea fans going to give him time?
You know what?
But he hasn't. You have to understand, he hasn't done this with Brighton season in, season out. Same as way Newcastle haven't ended up in the top 4 season in, season out. You have to.
He hasn't been there for very long, right?
Yeah,
he was at Brighton for two and a half.
This is top 4 is big boy business.
But the thing that's why I'm jumping on is because I'm saying I love Potter. Like people, I literally was saying like I want Potter at Tottenham. Like people, but the Chelsea job is showing. Big clubs it's not the same. Like he can go and lose 6 games in a row at Brighton and no one gives a shit because it's Brighton. You lose 2 games in a row at a big club, people are writing up your obituary. Do you know what I mean? Like Oliver Holt's out there writing daggers for you. You know what I mean? So the way I look at it is Potter has a style of play that at his clubs is shown maybe doesn't score X goals. Now, you might say you can put a quality player in that formation and it will perform better, but you do not have definitive proof, like Faz is saying, that he can deliver at that level. The confidence in the players, in your manager, when you're on a run like this, what do you have to hang your hat on for those players to say, okay, I believe in the manager, I think he can turn it around?
You know what?
That's his problem a little bit.
We're gonna have to dissect this another time because we're gonna be on Chelsea the whole day if we spend too much time on it. But I'm just gonna ask, what is everyone saying? Who's to blame in their situation? Because for me, I have the owner to blame based on the fact that he came in and he ruffled too many feathers at the same time, sacking managers, getting rid of all the backroom staff, changing everything. In the long term, it might be good because he's building the club in his own direction. But in the short term, this is what ends up happening. You have a situation where you don't have players that you want. You have a mess of a boardroom, and everything's just a mess. And Manchester United have just announced Weghorst is signing, so we're gonna get onto that in a second. But Vader, who do you say is to blame?
I mean, the outrage, the meltdown, the crisis that's going on with everybody. I mean, I'm blaming the lack of patience with the Chelsea fans. I mean, they're not accustomed to it. I think if you were to be honest and ask them, Chelsea fans, would you go through 3 years of difficulties, possibly eighth and fifth, to possibly challenge for a title in 3 seasons? I don't think any of them would be accepting that. That's the lack of patience that they have, or long-term vision. A new owner is going to want things his way. Like, regardless of how he's going to do it, he's going to want things his way. Tuchel wasn't matching what he wanted. He's out the door. He brings in a coach, brings in a manager that he believes he has trust with, and he's getting the players. It's not going to gel year one. This is like a disaster for Chelsea, right? This is like a plague. Locusts and frogs and storms and everything's happening. Look at the injury crisis they have amongst their players. It's hard to judge this and say Potter's to blame. I mean, give the man some time to cook. I think, if anything, and Chelsea fans don't want to hear it, look at Arsenal. Look at Arsenal. Don't pull the trigger on Potter just yet, because again, he's working in a chaotic kitchen right now. Give him time to cook.
But the thing is, I get they say look at Arsenal, but these are the Champions League winners from 18 months ago. Now, and you can't say ignore that because they won the Champions League 18 months ago. Yeah. And you're telling them to look at a team that hasn't played in the Champions League for 6 years. Sometimes what you're asking somebody to do is too great. And they might get there, but you got to break the back a little bit. So for me, the thing is that
I'm gonna say one last thing, and then I'll pass it over. Sometimes you can't plan for long-term successes and still be successful. Yeah. Sometimes you have to struggle while you're making those plans. But
you take a step back to take 2 steps forward. It happens to a lot of teams.
But as rivals, we got to be killing Chelsea. I get it.
I'm just gonna say this: Crystal Palace. Is it Crystal Palace at home or away?
Palace are away.
Palace away. We are home.
Okay, so what are you saying? You saying you're gonna win?
Do you know what? At this point, I'll take a 0-0 draw. That's how bad we are right now as a team. Oh dear. Bruv, no creativity right now. Who was our best player last night? Have a guess, Ego. That was our lonely player, João Felix. Yeah. And he was sent off yesterday because Koulibaly played a suspect pass through the middle, which was an empty space. Is literally put like a hospital ball to Felix. It's not. I understand the reckless of Jarvis with that tackle, but fucking hell, the build-up play was so poor yesterday. I'm sorry to cuss him out here, but it's a stressful time right now, man. And now we have to literally suffer with Mount and Havertz up front. We could play with Ziyech in the wing in the right wing.
What?
There's no one on the bench unless you put that Trossard up front or Aubameyang.
Fatur, I'm gonna put you out of the misery. I'm just gonna say Crystal Palace is gonna beat you. Anyone else? Does anyone else agree with me?
I think Palace might beat Chelsea. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't see Chelsea winning at this moment in time. They're in such a bad rut. I remind me of Arsenal a couple of years ago where we were just losing every game.
I'll say a draw. Palace aren't that great at the moment either. Let's not forget. So,
Bro, Chelsea have only won one game out of their last 9.
Sure. How many of Palace? How much have Palace won out of the last 9?
Palace have won 2 games in the last 5. That's all I know. But I don't know about
Is
the
that
last
the break,
9.
man? A draw. I see a draw.
I think a draw. I'd say a draw.
Yeah.
But
The thing is, like, when you play at the Bridge, I think it's going to be more toxic, I would say, because the reaction of the fans is going to be interesting as well. Like, are they going to boo the players before the kickoff? Are they gonna like singing like you're not fit to wear the shirt?
It's interesting to say what you. It's interesting to say that. It's interesting to say that you said some of the away fans, like the Chelsea away fans, because the away fans are usually the hardcore support, right? That some of those were getting onto. Were they going onto Potter or getting onto the players?
They're more of a getting onto the players.
Okay, all right.
You know what? Let's just stop there because we gotta Faz's gotta go soon. So we're gonna move over to the derby, the Manchester derby, and we got. If you guys don't know, Vater is the Man City fan. We're gonna just put you guys next to each other, and I'll put my guy Jay here next to me because he's a Tottenham fan. So we got the 2 derbies on this side. So this is what it's gonna be. This is what it's gonna be. First, we're gonna talk about Weghorst. I just want to hear your take on this, Faz. Are you underwhelmed by the signing, or I think he's going to be a good signing? I think you guys got a player that Ten Hag wants, and he's going to be a different option for you guys. But what do you think?
I think we are moving in a way in the lane that we can. We're not going in the fast lane, which is the most important thing. We're not overreaching and buying big name players or big money signings just for the sake of it. And on top of that, we have to be, by the way, happy with the signing that we've made because we literally don't have money. There's 20 odd million in the account, and we've spent 3-4 million on this transfer. With all due respect, Weghorst is probably earning minimum wage compared to some of our other players. Jadon Sancho has not featured in double-digit games and is the highest paid player in our squad right now. And in comparison, you have Weghorst who's come in who earns less than 50 grand a week. And I can't complain on that. If Weghorst gives me 7 GA in this season, he is a huge success. For £4 million and less than 50 grand a week, he is an absolute huge success. He gives us something else to think of in terms of attack. I am extremely critical of my squad not scoring goals from aerial duels like corner kicks, free kicks, crosses. I'm extremely critical. We miss out at least 10 to 15 goals in a season just because we don't have someone who can score headers. And I hope that he can be the pivotal person, not for being a striker, but actually for, I hate the word unlocking, but unlocking the Roberto Carlos, unlocking the Eriksen, unlocking the Anthony, unlocking the Bruno, all of these players who can somewhat cross should pick up assists because of this guy. And on top of that, I don't know if you guys know, but I have a strong, undeniable vendetta against Martial. I want him out of my club ASAP. So I'm very, very much happy that we have a different forward to come in. And Martial is injured for tomorrow as well.
At Burn, so he's going to be useful because right away he can play. But
I'm hearing Martial is injured. I'm not. It's still in a limbo. They've not fully clarified it, but he's not been training at all. Same with Dalot. But I think the manager said in the presser that Martial is, not ready. But maybe they might check last minute.
Hey, buddy, you guys had Igalo in the past, so it's better than that. And by the way, he scored 2 goals for Burnley in 20 games in the Premier League when they got relegated. So he's not the best. But guys, let's move on to the derby. what's going on with Derby, guys? Because like, is there a lot of injury issues? Like, how you guys feeling? Because you guys just lost to Southampton. Manchester United are on good form. Vader, how you feeling?
I'm not feeling the best that I would normally feel going into a derby, and that's really because of the last game result. I didn't like how the team played overall. I wasn't one that was talking quad, but many City fans went that far along the road, and they were thinking about that. So I didn't like how the players performed, and you never want that. But then, and I was told this from many other City fans, some of the elders telling me, it's human nature. The players are going to be looking forward to the derby more so than Southampton in the Carabao Cup. They're going to be looking at that competition, and again, having it been a season of back-to-back and possibly back-to-back-to-back, human nature might show a little complacency, looking ahead of things. Am I nervous about the derby? No, but I recognize it for what it is. You throw form out the window. It's about energy. It's about fight. It's all about playing for that badge. We had a very good result the last time we played United, undeniable. I mean, not the worst, but a very bad performance from United. We're going to their house this time. There's a few injuries on City's end. I think latest I heard was Stones. He's got a little nick or something. And then I think it's questionable about Laporte, but I don't think that's real. Other than that, I think we're good. If you want me to talk about the match and what I expect, I can do that now, or I can wait.
Yeah, give us your score prediction. What are you saying?
Score? Oh, slow down. Before I go about the score, I'm gonna talk about the 11. I think the 11's gonna go out to United, Old Trafford, and I think we're gonna be playing like the home team. I think we're going to be the ones on the aggressive. I expect United to play more counter-attack football, soak up the pressure. We're going to be dictating play as best as we can. And it's all about us just being wary of where their counter-attacks or options are. Rashford's in incredible form. He's the one player I'm worried about. The other one that I'm going to be taking notes and watching, see where he is on that pitch, is Casemiro. I want to see if he's up for it. Those are the two players that I'm going to be paying attention to. But I'm confident with the City win. Do we keep a clean sheet? I don't think so. We've been a little leaky, unfortunately. So maybe we look at a 3-1, 2-1. That type of result I'm looking at. But it's going to be tough.
Faz, what are you saying? Just before we go,
everybody in the build-up of this fight. I don't even like to call it a game. I call it a fight. In the build-up of this colossal fight, everybody's been talking about midfield. But you know what? I actually don't think the game is won and lost in the midfield this time round. I think it's the wings. I really think the way that Marcus Rashford and Garnacho, considering Anthony's goal last time as well, the way these guys have been playing, it's going to be very interesting to see how either Cancelo or Walker or Ake, who actually manages to control Garnacho or Rashford this time. Garnacho especially, right? He had a test against Semedo. He managed okay. He had a test against, I think Claire, is it, from Charlton side? He did obviously fantastic. He peppered up Charlton. And it's massive boost for the kid, right? And on top of that, Rashford, he's not even breaking sweat in games at times. He's just the water on his face is the rain. He's not even trying to his full potential. And Rashford is a big game player, as everybody knows. He turns up in big games, so that's another part. On top of that, right, you see Casemiro now making the most delicious passes that you could possibly imagine. The man is passing the ball like it's the finest Michelin star pasta in front of you. And when he first came into Manchester United, people were, the audacity of people comparing him to McTominay and say McTominay's benching him. And look now, he just every single game he's gone better and better and better and better and better. And I am literally wondering, I'm literally imagining a pass from Casemiro to Rashford to someone in the middle, and boom, it's a goal. So we'll we'll go with a 2-1 Manchester United. I think City will score. The most important thing for me is we must take out the adrenaline from Man City in the first 25 minutes. That's the most important thing. You cannot let Man City start growing in confidence in the game. That's where you mess up. Soon as they start having the ball, that's when you start panicking. And Man United are really good at, start going backwards. We can't be going backwards. We have to move forward. We have to play with confidence, and you can't, in the first 25 minutes you can't make a mistake, and if you do, you have to act like you didn't make a mistake, because let's not forget, Dalot made a crucial error, well, not even an error, but he collected a yellow card, and the first thing that happened is everybody looked at each other thinking, shit, we fucked up. It's only 5 minutes in, we've got a yellow card. Whereas it should be, okay, you got a yellow card, chin up, it's okay. And then the Varane injury came in and everything obviously crumbled like a house of cards. But this time round, I hope everybody's up for a thingy. And Dalot's not going to be featuring. He's not ready. So that's a beating. But you know what? I'm still happy with whoever plays. I think the manager's got everybody in a way where everybody's had some sort of minutes, right? Everybody's been rotated. Bissaka's got an assist. Malacia has been smashing in. So it should be okay. We should be fine. I think it's the wings. I really think it's the wings. It's not the midfield.
Everyone, let me know your score predictions in the chat. And Jay, Rakesh, and Fatur, get your thoughts ready for your score predictions. But what are you saying, Faz? What's your score prediction for this?
I said 2-1. 2-1 to Manchester United. I think Haaland will score, but I hope Man City don't score first. If they score first, it'll be a bit difficult. We know how Pep likes to change and chop and change his tactics in the middle of the game. I hope if Man City do score, though, I hope Pep overthinks it, because again, he's no it to overthink. And if he does, I hope Man United can come back. And at Old Trafford, right? It's been a fortress. You don't come to Old Trafford and you dance around. Not this season, anyways. So I hope that once we get behind the players and Man United get one goal, we just start eating into that Man City side, and they start panicking, and you see Ake and Akanji start showing inexperience. That would be the pivotal bit. So 2-1 United, I'm going with.
Look, I'm going 2-1 United simply because I need Man City to drop points. But,
oh, don't worry, baby. I come.
So when I do it, it's a problem.
Listen, I got my nice ready for you too. Don't think I forgot about you.
This guy.
Don't think I forgot about you, Igal. We're gonna make some pasta and paella out of you too. Don't worry, we're coming for you.
Listen, are you in a title race then?
Yeah.
What's with the food references? I don't get
it. We're gonna be salt paying at Emirates. We're gonna be salt paying at Emirates.
Stay off the pitch, man. Stay off the pitch.
1 second. He's cooking all this food, but I want to know: are you cooking up a title race?
Am I cooking up what?
A title race.
Okay, so I said this must be spoken about because mathematically it is possible. That's the first thing. Mathematically, it is possible. And let's not forget, Newcastle are in this conversation. I struggle to find Newcastle content creators, but Newcastle are in this conversation, right? If we get 4 points amongst City and Arsenal, I have said this, and you know me, I say it with chest. I am printing T-shirts. If we get 4 points between Man City, because you both, right? You two have to do your business as well. Man City,
no. What T-shirt are you printing? 20.
Oh, baby, we will find out. We will find out on January 22nd what T-shirts I'm printing.
That's the second time he's referred to.
He's like, I will be printing something. What are you going to be printing? You will learn what I am going to be printing. One day soon, it will come for you. What will come for you?
You know what? You
will find out.
Receipts.
You know, when I asked the title race question, Vader's like, don't do that. I'm like, why?
I'm telling him, don't answer that question. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Vader, listen, I just want to say, City ain't Citying like they used to. And you've got us next week. Don't forget that it's City Spurs on Thursday.
See, this is what happens with a loss versus Southampton. Everyone starts creeping up and having big chests and talking about taking.
Bro, what do you mean big chest? Well, we're your nemesis. What do you mean?
You had a nice.
1 second, let's talk about it. That Southampton loss was damning. It was damning. The guy brought on all the Avengers at halftime, and you still lost.
Yeah, bro, you lost to Brighton at home, bro. Like it happens, bro.
We were down 2-0 at halftime, right? Nothing changed in the second half. with the Avengers that you're calling it. So what Pep had to do was bring on the players and show this is the system that I wanted. This is the effort that I needed. No, we didn't get the result that we wanted, but the players that were given that chance to start that game didn't do their thing. And it's a message. There's been a few leaks, not leaks, but a few little comments in the post-game press conference, Gundogan, Pep, talking about players not showing to have that same dog, that same energy, that same drive. It happens, unfortunately. And again, some of you on this panel understand it, some of you don't. Going back to back to back is not an easy thing to do. Pep is navigating around that. So there's going to be some bumps in the road, some hiccups. But this derby is where we step up. Against title challengers like Arsenal is where we will step up. Against quote-unquote bogey teams that have bothered us in past years, we step up. So Jay, I know you got those points last year. This is
and the year before.
2023.
And the Champions League.
Oh, you're going. Okay, you keep
Well,
going. Keep
it's
going.
every year.
He's going way
It's
back.
every year.
He's going way back.
Bro, it's every
Yeah,
single
he's
year
going-
we beat you. We beat you every year. So you can give me you're the champions, and I know you're the champions, but we are the boogeyman. Don't say our name. It's okay.
Can I be honest? Can I be honest? Hold
I
up.
don't even need to
Can I just
our name.
say? Can I just say, Conte is a crackhead, and crackheads always manage to figure a way out with Man City.
That is
And
so
I think Conte has got some sort
What
of.
a reference! He's a
got-
crackhead.
He's got.
that is so
Conte
true.
is a crackhead. Everybody knows this.
Let's
Conte
go
is
back to the
a
food.
crackhead.
Go back to the food. Let's go back to the food.
This is my manager
Conte-
talking about.
You know Conte,
So
he's
I'm not
that-
going
you know
to
Conte,
agree. He's a
right,
crackhead.
Conte,
That's
hold
not
on.
actually going to run.
Con-
Now I
listen,
think about
Conte
it, it's a bit
is
harsh.
that Conte is the angry chef in the kitchen. You know them angry chefs in the kitchen.
I mean, that's a lot better than a crackhead.
He's
Yeah,
an
yeah,
angry
yeah.
chef. Sometimes
like-
the food comes
Go back
out
to
a bit
food
too much,
references.
and he doesn't like criticism. But he's an angry chef, and I hope Conte can really cook something up for Man City because I need that. But let's not forget, right? Let's not forget, Man City and Arsenal have to do their dance as well. They've not played home and away as well.
Yeah, that's gonna
big
be big.
Yeah.
Those are going to be big games. And Faz makes a great point. And listen, obviously, tongue in cheek about City because they obviously it's City, but the options are narrowing. To me, normally you're like City can rotate options and bring people in. Mahrez has to play, because there's no one else who's playing on the right as well as him. Okay, on the left, I don't know what they want to do because Foden is not in form.
This is what's predicted as the team.
That is an
That's the team I think City should play. That's exactly the team they should play.
I might. we
Don't
might see
forget
a
as
team-
well. Weghorst also
Maybe Gundogan for Silva,
though.
maybe.
Weghorst is
No,
not
no,
going to
no,
play.
no,
One
Good
second.
Gundogan plays in
Let's
midfield.
just-
Silva.
Let's get
Silva up
Rakesh
front.
in here. Rakesh, what are you saying?
Look, I think City with Haaland playing up front and him not being as involved in the build-up have looked a little bit more suspect in build-up, both in build-up play and it seems like they've pushed
What about a
more
goal?
players up
What
to
about
try
a
and
goal?
compensate. Huh?
What about with regards to goals? I know the build-up play is not as sexy as it's been, but what
No,
about the
sure.
goals?
But what I'm saying is that I think Man United are a pretty effective counter-attacking team, and I think that's probably going to be. I don't see Man United dominating the territory, dominating possession for the whole 90 minutes. I think that's City's game. That's what City have been built on for the last, however many years since Pep's come in, 7 years or whatever it is. So in a similar way to how we played City at Anfield, where we were compact, we didn't try and put there wasn't that much space between the lines and in the half spaces, and then we created chances pretty much although we weren't completely counter-attacking, we were kind of more proactive with the ball on some occasions. Generally speaking, City dominated the ball, and when the opportunities arose, we were able to play through them. We actually created quite a few decent chances, and I think that represents Man United's best opportunity to win the game. In a big game, it's difficult to bet against City, and also I prefer City to Man United. So just putting my allegiances out there. I think it will be tight, but I think maybe 2-1 City. But it'll be a good game. I think it'll be a good game because I think it'll be a bit of a clash of styles. And it could come down to the battle of the marksmen. If Rashford on form, playing very well, deadly in front of goal, and Haaland is Haaland. So
I just want to add 2 points to what you just said. Like, for me, it's like Veta mentioned about the in front of goal. The thing, City have always been a team that almost control the ball and it helps them to defend, right? And if you take Haaland out of that, you're basically effectively doing the same thing with 10 people instead of 11. So the effectiveness of that has dropped, which in turn then means if that is your defense mechanism, your defense capabilities has dropped. And I believe that's why you're getting a few more random results with the Brentfords and the Evertons, even though someone will say, well, we've had those results previous seasons. But the way some of these results are happening, the control certain teams are having in games, which was unheard of, the evolution of a Pep style, even going back to him when he had an Ibrahimovic, when he had a main target guy, and Ibra was more involved than a Haaland. I think City, this is not a do or die game, but I agree with what Veta says. This is the game they've got to step up. They've got to show the league that they've still got teeth. United are on a great run. City would love to end that run. And it's a huge game as well because City are playing before Arsenal.
Can I ask? I want to ask Veta a question. I want to ask Veta a question because I look at Man City's team and I see a gap, and I see that Pep doesn't have his centre backs. I really don't think he trusts Ake and Akanji like the way he trusts some other players, like he trusts Stones or Cancelo or Walker. And I'm very surprised as to why he's not in the market for a centre back as well. I'm very surprised.
We don't. That's old City. We don't go in the market to just replace players. That's not us anymore. That's for other men's. We've got Akanji. We've got Ake, who plays left center back. We've got Stones. Unfortunately, Diaz hurt. He's mending. He's on his way back. Laporte. But I agree with you in terms of Pep trying to find that trust. Akanji just arrived to us this year. He just arrived, but he's fit in very well. He came in. His debut was Champions League, and he played exceptionally well. But Pep, he's a tinkerer. He's always trying to figure things out. He's changed that back four. He's had Walker play right center back. He's had Walker play right back. He's been all over the place. There hasn't been the normal, consistent 4 or 5 that he keeps in a certain rotation. He's figuring it out. But trust, he has that with Akanji because I think he trusts him to be able to partner well. Ideally, I would say would be Laporte and Stones. It would be Walker, Stones, Laporte, and Ake if we were to probably play our best. But it looks like Stones isn't available. Akanji's going to do his thing. To Jay's point with regards to managing the defense through possession, yeah, it's different this year. I don't think it's requiring Haaland to have to drop into the midfield. We don't have to go that far. But Pep has changed things up. He's realized that this back to back, and I know I keep saying it often, can't have City pressing from top to bottom. We can't press every opponent. We got to pick our moments. I think this is the game like we saw at Chelsea, that second time against Chelsea where we were pressing the heck out of them. I think we do the same thing to a degree, not to be vulnerable with any counterattacks, but I think we press you more this game. And again, we have to get the ball to Haaland. He's prolific. The man's scoring at a crazy rate. He's going to obliterate this goal scoring record healthy. So we have to feed him the ball. The midfield's going to be what it is. I can't tell you what that front three is. I wish I could. I would have first told you it would have been Foden and it would have been Haaland and possibly Alvarez as our ideal. But Mahrez has reminded everybody, I'm that guy. So we might be seeing Foden, Haaland, Mahrez. We might see Grealish, Haaland, Mahrez. But that's the beauty of what Pep has to do. He's given trust to many players, and they've shown that they can play at the level. It's going to be a fight, man. Whatever that 11 is going to be players are going to be playing for that fight.
You know what? Big up, Faz, for coming on, bro. I know you got to jump out. You got a video to go do. Big up to you for that. And then you got anything to say before you go?
Look, Chelsea should be talked about more. That's the first thing I'll say. Because if any of us three, right, Man City, Man United, Arsenal, were in the same position as Chelsea, they would crucify us worse than they crucified Jesus Christ. They will finish us. So we must talk about Chelsea. It is a Michelin-star restaurant serving bossman food, and that should not be allowed. That should not be allowed.
Do you work in the catering industry by any chance?
That's what I do. I make the references. Yeah, Michelin-star restaurant. Yeah, Salt Bay restaurant, and the shit is messed up in there, and it's not nice. So Chelsea must be talked about. Yeah, sorry, but you have to hold it. Ham sandwich up there, Tottenham. Listen, you lot finished. You lot have absolutely finished.
Ham sandwich.
Ham sandwich, petrol station sandwich. You're not even a Waitrose sandwich no more. You're done. Levy has finished your club fully. The only good thing about you, about Tottenham is the concerts that they have. That's the only good thing about Tottenham. Is the concerts.
There's the American football.
Our cheese room is exquisite.
Look, see, even they know.
Get on. What's the last thing?
But City and Arsenal, don't worry, man. Paella and pasta, we're coming for you.
What about Liverpool? Man. What about Liverpool?
Paella and pasta.
Liverpool. Who? The people who have money and who don't know what to do with the money. Nah, allow it. It's like they won the lottery and they don't know what to do. They don't know. They're so excited. They don't. Should they buy a house or should they buy a Lamborghini? They don't know what to do first, man. They got their own problem. And I think the fan base will eventually get on top of FSG. Yeah, and I keep ringing Liverpool fans and saying, do you need a contact number for banners and flares? Because start protesting, you idiots. Stop.
It's got nothing. We're not here to like get games called off and start storming the pitch and wearing our golden and green scarves for the last 12
animals,
years.
Aren't they, Rakesh? Animals.
Uncivilized, man.
Hanging off the cameras like monkeys.
Liverpool, with their financial, with their money right now, the amount of money Liverpool have from profits should be making 100 million bids for just
like how much money does Liverpool have in profits?
Liverpool have hundreds of millions in profit. Hundreds of millions.
But I mean, you've made a statement. Explain.
Liverpool have hundreds of millions in profit. Hundreds of millions in profit. You don't even want me to find it out.
Do you know what Liverpool's profit last?
You don't even want me to find out.
Do you know what Liverpool's profit was in the last set of accounts? Do you know what Liverpool's profit was?
What was Liverpool's profit?
£5 million.
No, I'm not believing it. I'm not believing it.
Yeah, no. In the last published set of accounts.
How much money you got in the bank? Hold on, I'm asking live. How much is in your bank?
About 20 million.
There's a lot of money, right? Okay, hold on.
Account.
How much money? Just tell me a figure. I got man them here asking me how much money is in Liverpool. How much money is in Liverpool's bank? Because you study this, right? How much is it? Give me the figure.
The guy in the restaurant is not going to give you the answer, man.
Give me the figure, man. Give me the figure. How much money is in the bank?
No money, is it?
88 million. 88 million you have in the bank. 88. Get out of here, man. You look, phone. Get out of here, man. 88 million. Liverpool have more money than that, bro. There's something fishy going on here.
You just burned your own sauce.
You don't have 100 million in the bank. Don't call me, man. Don't call me, man. Don't call me. You don't have 100 million in the bank.
Yo, let's get it. Yo, Fez.
Wait. See, this brother here just commented, said LFC made 600 million. That's correct. This is the figure you were giving me last week.
What does that mean? 600. I agree. What does that mean? Is that turnover? Or is that profit?
You ain't got 100 million in profit. Don't call me, man. You're not a Blick Club no more, man. Get off my phone, bro. This guy.
Man United don't have 100. You a minute ago you said Man United don't have any money at all. We're
But they have spent. At least you make profit, bro. We sell our socks, our shoes. We sell our everything, bro. We have to recycle things that are not even recyclable. We have to recycle them. That's how we function, bro. We're finished. Our club financially we're done.
Man United are doing what Liverpool were doing not too many years ago. When you remember, it comes into the summer. There's no value in the market. Back in the day, Fergie days. There's no value in the market. We've decided not to enter the transfer market this season. But you will spend money because it makes no sense. It makes no sense for you to go out and say, you know what, guys, we've got 250 million to spend this summer. Who does that? Man United did it in the past, and they got fleeced, absolutely fleeced.
One second.
Always make out your poor.
1 second. There's a poll question that I've just put out, and I want everyone yes or no questions. Does anybody see Liverpool signing another player for after Gakpo this window?
Yeah, we have to. We have to.
That's
One
a
of
fact.
the,
We
it's
have
not,
to.
it's not,
But
it's
I
not,
don't
it's
see
not a
it.
question. We have to.
What? Who?
No, you have to, but
Bellingham.
will you?
Yes.
I heard from a very good source that runs a very high quality space and has a very good channel. He said there's another signing pending, so I'm gonna believe that. They have to. They
Brown
have to.
envelopes, man. Don't believe that, man.
I don't think Liverpool can't afford not to be in the top
Faz,
four.
big up, Faz. I know you gotta go.
Okay.
Big up.
That's pleasure.
Yeah, bro.
Take care, boys.
Man brought the fire to him.
Liverpool are like I can't believe what I'm seeing with Liverpool. I'm not often lost for words.
Yeah, go Jose in the chat.
I saw I saw what you call it. I saw the Danish kid who's just gone to Benfica. Yeah, the football manager wonder kid. Yeah, and I saw Liverpool wanted him. Like Romano said, he said Liverpool tried to get him for 2023 summer. I said, what? You mean these guys who have Diaz, who have Jota, who just bought Gakpo, yeah, who have Salah, yeah, Carvalho, Elliott, wanted to buy this guy too? I said, I don't understand why Liverpool have started doing ex-Fields transfers. Yeah, they're doing ex-Fields. They used to do all the data and they were perfect at it. I personally think, yeah, losing Michael Edwards is one of the worst things that happened to Liverpool. Losing Edwards is actually worse than losing Klopp, like in my personal opinion, because you can argue that without Edwards, Klopp doesn't. How are you going to get Klopp definitively the players he needs? Edwards knows the formula. He knew that he had the formula. Like he would go, if you gave Edwards 40 to 50 million pounds, he's bringing you back a needle mover. He ain't bringing you back a decent player. He's bringing you back somebody who's going to go into the team and move the needle straight away at a great age. That's what he did. And
he'll get the right ingredients at the right price.
Exactly. Which allowed them to make a much better quality meal. Like Edwards would never the data on Núñez, like I don't know if Edwards would do that deal. Not just because Núñez isn't a good player, but because of the change of style that it would dictate and the movement away from things. It's like moving one piece, but then it moves multiple other pieces. When you have a Núñez, now all of a sudden you need better control in the midfield because the ball isn't necessarily going to stick to him all the time. You're playing more balls over the top. Yeah. You're playing more through balls. His control and touch isn't quite as good as like a Firmino. So the ball's coming back more. So you need a control in midfield. So not upgrading the midfield and adding Núñez created its own issue in itself, which isn't just of Núñez's thing, but then also you lose Diaz, ball carrying winger, someone who can hold the ball a little bit more. So the ball's not just going bang, 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 bang. I just feel like Liverpool have regressed a little bit. It's not going to take loads to get them back, but it depends on the rest of the players, whether the Robertsons, the Van Dijks, because all of a sudden it looks a massive rebuild if those guys start declining. Robertson's been in decline for at least 6 months.
Yeah,
I agree. Like in certain case, I feel like with Liverpool is that it's the same case that we've been suffering for about a couple of seasons now. That we've literally regressed in that midfield, but we haven't sorted that problem yet. And I feel like in Liverpool case, they need a DM, a proper midfielder that can play alongside Thiago. And James Milner and Fabinho is not the one. Fabinho has been declining a lot for the past 2 years, ever since he won the league. Van Dijk has been declining for me for the past, couple of months now. And I think you need a new defender. And also, not only that, but I feel like you have to focus more from the back line and then to the middle, rather than getting another attacker into our team, because I feel like it's pointless now because you've got Salah, you got Gakpo now, you've got I forgot his name is Darwin Núñez, Luis
But
Diaz
you know what?
still injuring that, but yeah.
It's gotten to a point where Liverpool have left it for so late that it almost feels like this cycle of good players that they had that were at the top level, and the players that are coming through are not meshing to the level where they can still compete to the level that they were at. So now they've dropped, but with the drop, you've also experienced players coming out of form. You've also experienced injuries. Everything that's culminated into the situation that they're in right now is a lack of preparation, I would say. It's not a coincidence that when their players get older, they didn't replace them quick enough. And that's I'm not. It's not as simple as that. It's very simple to just say, oh, your best players have gotten older and you've teams dropped. I'm just saying it was a lack of preparation. They didn't seem to have a good succession plan, and in the long term, I don't know if Liverpool are just going to continue to ride it out with these guys or break it down completely and rebuild, because it seems like they're closer to a full rebuild than they are trying to sustain this for the next couple of years.
I think, look, it's been a shocker of a season so far. No bones about it. And people will say, oh, we saw it coming, but realistically, no one saw this level of decline coming. You could say, okay, maybe Liverpool aren't going to be at City's level. But how many people had Liverpool finishing outside the top two? Very, very few. Okay, this season and the back end of last season was poor. We were winning games towards the end of last season. The second half of last season, we didn't lose a single game, and I think we drew 3. I think we drew to City, Spurs, and someone else. I can't remember. But towards the end, the performances were not quite at the same level. We need to strengthen in midfield for sure. We should have strengthened midfield 2 seasons ago, 2 summers ago. Obviously, this last summer we were after Tchouaméni. It was close to happening, and then Real Madrid came in after they didn't get Mbappe and PSG, and then after that point it was never going to happen. Ultimately. It's the big talk amongst the Liverpool fan base at the moment is about whether there's an alignment, whether everyone is singing from the same hymn sheet in terms of the recruitment team. Julian Ward, sporting director, who's going to be leaving at the end of the season. Now, bear in mind, Julian Ward, he took over the job at the start of this season, and it was his dream job. So it suggests that there's not everything is all hunky dory in the back room. Ian Graham, who's our director of research, is leaving. We wouldn't be surprised if he showed up at Chelsea, because Daniel Finkelstein, your director, is. They worked together before when they were at when Finkelstein was doing articles for the Times on analytics. But we've got people in there who can kind of potentially step into the breach. But the question is, are the guys that the recruitment people putting forward, are they the guys that Klopp and Lijnders and whoever else is making some of those decisions in charge? Because the strength of Liverpool in the past has been the fact that we recruited really well and everyone was alignment. Even if we didn't get our first choice, we knew the kind of players that we were going to go for, and everyone was in agreement. Now, if you have a recruitment team that's pulling in one direction and a first team manager and assistant manager who maybe want something different, that's going to cause problems. And I hope that changes if that is the case. We needed. It looks like both Jota and Diaz are probably going to be out for a big chunk of the rest of the season, and I think that's why we kind of brought in Gakpo as well. He's a good young player, but I have question marks about him. But ultimately, I've said this before. If we don't bring in a player of Caicedo's quality and characteristics or higher this window, then it's negligence. And basically, if that doesn't happen, it makes getting top 4 extremely difficult, because right now we are playing disastrously.
So with those additions, you would think the pursuit for top 4 is doable. A Caicedo type profile player.
The thing is, our press is nowhere near as effective as it has been in recent seasons. And one thing that Klopp always says, a gegenpress is the best playmaker. we create so many chances from that. We have created chances and we've missed a lot of chances, and I think that's a fair enough criticism as well. But we don't press anywhere near as effectively. People play through our midfield pretty easily, which they haven't done over the last few years, and we're giving up too many big chances, and it can't continue if we're going to get top 4.
Let me just say this. Jay, are you with us?
I'm with you.
No.
Sorry, I just got a phone call, but I'll tell him to call back. One sec.
No. You can just go on mute. It's not a problem.
One sec.
Yeah. Let's do this. They play Brighton. Brighton are at home. Liverpool are away. I'm not gonna lie to you, Rakesh. Brighton are gonna get some points off you.
Brighton away, you got. Sorry, you got. It's Brighton away.
Brighton are at home.
Brighton
I don't trust Chelsea. I don't trust Chelsea. Liverpool are just a little bit above Chelsea. Literally. Like,
it's true. No, it's true. You cannot trust Liverpool to get a result. Right now, you cannot trust Liverpool to get a result. I agree 100%.
So it's not even an insult. You're bored. Your people. You're right. It's negligence. And what I view it as, complacency from Klopp. He is complicit to this ship being steered this way. It's being steered into an iceberg, and he's allowing it. He's not doing nothing to change the situation. You could say you guys have all the respect in the world for him, but this Pep Lijnders guy is literally a scapegoat. I see your fan base talking about him every single day. This is the biggest scapegoat in football history. How is your assistant coach?
He doesn't deserve it.
How is your assistant coach getting the level of stick that your board and your manager should be getting?
You know, the thing is, I agree with this 100%. You've seen this before. Like, you remember when Man United had Michael Carrick and some other guy? Oh yeah, who are these guys? Why John Murtaugh? Why are they at the club? People will come up with as soon as results start going south. People will look for scapegoats. Klopp, to some degree, in this fan base, is untouchable because most of us love him. There's been some talk of Klopp out recently, which I can't get behind in any way, shape, or form. Ultimately, they just need to be aligned. They just need to be aligned in what they're right. Yeah, in the middle of last season. Yeah, so he's going to be here for the next 3 years probably. And there's no appetite really amongst the vast majority of the Liverpool fan base for Klopp out, but. We are in a bad position right now, and the Pep Lijnders thing, I think, is a bit of a red herring. But that's just because people want a reason. They want something that they can point at and say that's the reason. But no one fucking knows really what's going on behind the scenes at Liverpool for any kind of certainty.
Yeah, I'll say this. The exodus amongst the backroom staff and all that stuff, that is worrisome. But
I agree.
Is it related to the potential new owners and the handover and all that kind of stuff? Because when there's a change in ownership, then there's a little bit of a vacuum, right? People start posturing, trying to protect jobs or looking for opportunities because they don't think they're going to remain. So that is worrisome throughout the season. But when I look at Liverpool, and yeah, some results have been shocking because you wouldn't expect to drop points, let alone losses. But versus Brighton, needing a result. If I were to assume the front three is probably what are we looking at the front three? Gakpo,
well, I mean,
Nunes, and Salah.
Nunes might be injured apparently.
Okay, all right.
Oh,
so could be Salah and Gakpo.
Okay.
Salah and Gakpo. Fuck it. What the fuck are you? What are we trying to achieve with that? What is the aim with that? With that part?
Let me bring Jay back in. Who's the biggest scapegoat at Liverpool? Did you say Jordan Henderson? Or
Me? No. Liverpool is more. Klopp is, out of all the issues I see, Klopp is probably the biggest issue. Personally, looking at it, people can blame the club, but the times that Liverpool have fucked up really bad, it's been Klopp's fault. When they didn't sign a centre-back a couple of seasons ago, when everyone could see they were going into the season with 3 centre-backs, it's not enough centre-backs. Yeah? He didn't sign a centre-back. Liverpool fucked up. Comes into this season, everyone can see they need a midfielder. Not just because of quality, but because of availability too. Because a number of their midfielders are constantly unavailable. So what do? They don't buy a midfielder. And then this happens. So both times, I refuse to believe, that this data-driven club is not capable of saying, here's a £15 million midfielder that's going to do bits. Here's a £30 million midfielder who's going to do bits. Yeah. I refuse to believe that Liverpool's scouting and data was not able to do that. I have to believe that Klopp has turned down certain players, yeah, and wanting to go with it. If Klopp wants to sign Henderson up to a 3-year contract, despite the data saying he's going to decline and it's a bad decision, that's his fucking decision. If Klopp wants to retain Milner, that's his decision. These are decisions that are impacting. You saw it last season with City and Fernandinho when his legs absolutely went. And he wasn't quite a liability, but it was like you were playing with 10.5 men sometimes when you were playing a high-quality team. He just wasn't of that level. Now, I'm not trying to say Henderson is quite of that level because he can still play and can still have games. But it's like, who told Klopp to go into the season with Harvey Elliott playing right centre midfield? Who told him to do that? That's ridiculous. That's his decision. So, to me, he who has utmost faith in this squad, has utmost faith in the boys, he's become too emotionally attached. And because he's become too emotionally attached, he's been unable to cut the cord with some of these players.
To add to that, Jay, is Klopp made the mistake, and Pep didn't do this, but I understand the mentality. He wanted Fernandinho to remain because of what he meant within the locker room, the leadership, right?
Yeah.
The instructions and making sure everyone was accountable. So I get that. But he still had Rodri, and he still made moves for Phillips to be able to build up and have that position covered. I understand Klopp wanting Milner and Henderson because of what they bring in terms of the locker room, making sure that, because again, we all remember when Milner got in the face of Van Dijk to be like, nah, man, that step up. You're not playing right. You need a player like that. You know what I mean?
After the Manchester game.
Exactly. He got in his face, but you still need to replenish your squad with players that can play. So it's tough. I get it. Klopp should not be taken off the hook, but the way they are bashing and killing this Pep Lijnders, they just want to sell some.
Oh, bro, no, but Vito, that's the point. Is those people want to blame Klopp, but they haven't got it in them to blame Klopp. So they've mythologicalized Pep Lijnders and his impact and his positioning and everything. And now it's all on Pep Lijnders. All the hate that they want to give Klopp, they don't dare tell it to Klopp because he's the guy that won the Premier League and helped them. They're like, right, Lijnders, this motherfucker, he wrote a book. Imagine hearing someone somebody wrote a book. This guy wrote.
No, like, you know what? I kind of get the point where they're saying he.
No, bro, there isn't. Bro, there isn't really a point. He wrote a book.
He's a scapegoat in the sense that he's not the main issue. But the fact is, he wrote a book giving away tactics. I get.
He did it. Gal, have you read the book? Gal, have you read the book?
No.
Okay. I've read the book.
No, let me just say
one tactic.
Rakesh, before you just dive in this, I'm just going to say,
intensity is not a tactic.
£50 million a year managers have been waiting all year for Pep Lijnders to drop that book, and they're like, "Hold on, lads, listen, we've got the secret. It's all here. Right, switch the phone off. Not going to be. Do not bother me tonight."
Apparently, every Premier League manager.
What the fuck?
Apparently, every Premier League manager bought Pep Lijnders' book, and that's why Liverpool are losing. That's why. That's why Pep Lijnders the problem, because in that book was the secret to how to unlock Liverpool's attack and defense.
Okay, so just on a serious note, I read the book. First of all, the book is shit. It's really, really bad. It's a really bad book. Don't buy it if you get. There's almost no tactical insight whatsoever. It's written in the format of like a diary, so it's like, oh, this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened. Yeah. But it goes on for a whole year. Imagine how many crap things happened. Oh, yeah, we played Brighton. We got a win. Oh, that was good. Then we found out we were really good at throw-ins, and we kept possession so many times. That was really good. And then it's really boring. It's very rose-tinted. It's a PR piece. It's a puff piece. It's not interesting in that regard. But he doesn't. There's no tactics really given away. It's just a shit book.
Okay. Now let's talk about Liverpool's next game. Can they keep
Brighton? It's Brighton away, isn't it?
Can they beat Brighton away?
Jesus wept. What a horrible
Score
game.
predictions in the chat. I'm gonna go Rakesh last on this one. I don't give Liverpool a chance of keeping it clean.
Yeah, let me just before you give your prediction, Iga, that is if you said Brighton away, Newcastle away, but the thing is, Arsenal handled them, but they didn't handle them. They kind of handled them, but they didn't handle them. On another day, that could be a completely different score. And Arsenal are the best team in the league this season. So what Liverpool are going to do with that defense turning up? Mitoma versus Trent. I'm sorry. I will be there no matter what. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I have never been fooled
Don't
by
forget
a
that
player
as well.
more
Like,
in my life.
that Trossard.
1 second. I have to go on Trent. I have never been fooled by a player more in my life. I was putting the guy as a generational talent. I was saying the guy.
He is a generational talent.
I was saying
he
is.
Okay,
One
here we
second.
go.
He is generational based on the fact that he was doing things that was impressive. Right?
So is he?
Okay, so you contradicted yourself in 2 sentences.
One second. Here's where I overdid it. I said he's been one of the best right backs in all time in the Premier League. That's where I overdid it. I had him in my all-time Premier League 11 at the right back spot.
Whoa, yeah, you overdid that.
That's not even a terrible take, Gal.
You overdid that.
No, I feel like right now, based on what he's doing right now, I feel like I went too fast on backing him to the hill against
you
Premier League legends.
probably did that after an outside of the boot pass that he delivered. That's probably why you had that reaction.
The thing that Trent's got though a little bit is some
down,
longevity, because you got to remember Bellerin before he had an injury was a very high quality right back. You know, Ivanovic, a lot of these right backs, Zabaleta, they're at a high level and they have that drop off. Trent looks hench. You know, when you look at a guy, you're like, this guy's hench. Like, why are you hench? You're a footballer.
No, but
you know what I mean?
Like, I have never been more disappointed of a player from another team than I have been of Trent recently. It's actually weird.
I think he's been all right.
But recently, he's been better than he has been.
I think
early part of the season, he wasn't so good.
He hasn't been the hype. He hasn't been
worth
the hype, but he's been better.
His best attribute was the fact that he was able to create so many chances, and your teammates would finish it off, and he'd get so many assists. His first assist to Darwin Núñez this season was what time? A couple days ago. I think he only had like 2 assists the whole season, and it's like one of his best attributes is to create from that right wing, that right side of your attack from many different pockets of space. He at one point, I think during your title-winning season, he dominated the most successful passes on every single block on that right side in the Premier League. Where now you could barely see him get successful passes some games. Maybe it's because of the attackers are not as good as they used to be, but like those crosses, they're not getting on marks. They're not landing in the right areas. Yeah. At times he doesn't look like he's confident to go forward or stay back. He's overthinking everything, and it was just a situation. Now he's maybe getting better after the World Cup, but prior to the World Cup, that was not even him. I don't know who that was.
So I agree. I agree. Prior to the World Cup, you know what? It's difficult with anything because, yes, individually he hasn't been at the same level he has been in previous seasons, but he's been exceptional levels, almost unseen levels in previous seasons, and the team right now is completely dysfunctional. So you have a reasonably young player who's got experience, struggling, and then you've also got a team struggling around him. You've got change in several different positions around him in terms of the way we attack and the way we're having to defend now. And inevitably, that's going to have a knock-on effect. Like, none of the team right now, from the heights they've been at, the only player who's at the same level is Alisson. Alisson hasn't dropped off. Alisson's been exceptional. Everybody else in that Liverpool team this season is probably in their worst season. Liverpool.
Facts. Yeah. You know what? Let's just do this way. No one really wants to talk about the Brighton game too much. Fator, what's your score prediction?
I'll say 2-1 to Liverpool.
Matinho.
I feel like that issue for me
is going to score.
Trossard's disciplinary issue kind of backfired on him. Now it's not in the squad.
Oh, he's done.
What happened to? I don't know. I don't even know what happened.
Yeah, basically, what I've heard happened, legit, honestly, and this isn't even me gassing up Spurs. Spurs inquired about Trossard earlier in the window, Trossard was like, "Yeah, I could see myself at Spurs." Yeah, like, and he's like, "All right, I want to go Spurs." And then he's falling out with the coach because he's like, "I'm not fit." And then the coach is like, "Go train on your own." And like, it just seems like it's so random and quick. But listen, I'll take Trossard. You could like Lucas Moura, like replace Lucas Moura with Trossard. Like Spurs then coming in, I'm like, oh, okay, that's a nice. We'll get on to Spurs' 6 in a second, but yeah, Trossard is not involved in the squad this weekend at all, 100%.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll say 2-1 Liverpool. There you go, 2-1 Liverpool.
I'm gonna go. Well, I'm gonna go 2-2 draw. I think it's gonna be a high scoring draw, and I think that's being generous at this point because Liverpool scoring 2 goals sometimes can be difficult right now.
I think 2-2 draw is a good shout because as much as I think Brighton are capable of beating Liverpool, the way Brighton kind of defended against Arsenal, the transitions in midfield, and Arsenal played really well, and Arsenal have a certain type of player that Liverpool lack. Liverpool lack those creative players in those attacking positions at the moment. So I think Liverpool can definitely score, and I think Núñez is going to stretch them. But I don't know, the defense hasn't been good for Liverpool this season. I can see Mitoma causing massive problems. So yeah, 2-2. I go with that too.
Okay. Vader, do you want to just give a quick scoreline?
Yeah, I think it's going to be up and down, unfortunately. Back and forth. I can't see a win, though. I can't see a win. Now that I know that Núñez isn't playing, I'm feeling like maybe a 1-1.
And Rakesh, do you want to just give us a scoreline quickly? Sorry, Vader, for cutting out.
No, it's all right. Look at his face, man. He's hurting.
I'm hurting, but I want to back my team. 2-1 Liverpool.
Okay. I'm just gonna start North London derby. Combined 11. Does anybody else get in besides Harry Kane?
Well, are we talking about Arsenal and Spurs now? Yeah, is that what we do?
You know what, how we're gonna do it?
Just dropped it on Jay.
No showmanship. No je ne sais quoi.
No big reveal.
You know what, guys?
No preheat.
You gotta give Jay his moment. Jay, take it away, bro.
Oh, well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. North London proudly presents to you. Listen, it's a big time in my life because Arsenal might be good again, and from the bottom of my heart, I hope that's not true, but it seems to be true. They are arguably the best team in the league. I don't even think it's arguable. I think they are the best team in the league
currently.
So,
yeah.
This weekend, there's no excuse for me crying about Arsenal winning the league if we have an opportunity to put a big roadblock in front of them. So, to me, this is a must-win game for Tottenham. It's a must-win game. Not even, Arsenal have only lost. No, it's a must-win game. It's irrelevant. Igal's gonna say only one Spurs player gets in the Arsenal team, and I can see where he's coming from if I squint very hard and take my contacts out. I can see where he's coming from, because the thing about temporary and momentum is, they're doing well. You're doing well, and the team's popping, and they look like they're capable of winning the league. But Spurs have good players. We have a number of good players. We've not been as fortunate as Arsenal with certain starters being injured and things like that. I know they've got Jesus injured now, but like, I think Spurs, we've got our players coming back. Like Kulusevski's fit. So to me, that's a huge thing for us. Like Kulusevski's averaging, I think, a goal in this. Like he's just averaging a high level of goals and assists, and we've missed him this season. Bentancur and Richarlison are back in training. Yeah, so both of them should be on the bench at least. Yeah, so now the squadding again. Romero's fit. Like, I'm just saying that this game is a big game for Spurs. I can't see us losing it. Like, for Arsenal to come to our stadium and beat us with us having a pretty full squad, that just can't happen. Do you know what I mean? It just can't happen. It won't happen.
Could you get down, baby? Get down. We got you guys so scared. I love it. You know what, Jay?
You say scared? I ain't scared of you fucking ragamuffins.
You know what? You actually gave a testimony to like a funeral. Like it sounded like you were that sad. Look, Tottenham are a tough team to play at their house, no matter what. Even when we have our best teams of all time, some of our greatest teams have gone there and only gotten a draw. So who am I to say our team is now going to go there and wipe the floor with them? But one thing I will tell you is I'm confident in my squad. I'm confident in my players. I'm confident that Tottenham are not looking the best. I'm confident in the fact that Tottenham are giving me confidence based on the fact that they don't have a direct strength, identity, or anything like that. So when we talk about North London derbies, they're always small margins, give or take. And I think this is going to be a game where if we can get a goal early, hold on to it, rattle a couple cages, the Tottenham fans turn against their own players.
Yeah.
Causes a little bit of disruption. We get a second goal. Consolation penalty for Tottenham. They make it 2-1.
Yeah. Listen, I appreciate the Narnia-esque vision of what you think is going to happen. But let me be very clear on this, yeah. I think very highly of Spurs' attackers. Yeah, I think very highly of our attackers. And you talk with a big amount of bravado about how
only one of them has been good.
Only one of our players gets in your team. I think if you put both teams at their best, that's not true. But I'll argue because you're top of the league, yeah, you have to get the sway. It's always the way. The team that's higher in the league gets the bias. Yeah. I'm personally think I don't think Martinelli is better than Son. You know, I don't think Saka's better than Kulusevski. So I've got my own opinions, and my players need to validate my opinions this weekend. If I'm out here saying that Kulusevski's better than Saka, I expect him to dunk on his head top when we play you on Sunday. I expect Kulusevski to show out. You play Zinchenko against Kulusevski, he's gonna fucking destroy him.
Fighting talk.
Yes! I'm saying put Zinchenko against Kulusevski. Have him doing the ha-cha-cha.
One second. The thing is, the way we play, that left back is not the defensive player. It's always a player who gets forward and connects with the rest of the team. The right back is the more solid piece. Yeah. So Son is not going to have any day. Kulusevski might have a field day because the way that we play, it's by design. A lot of teams do get joy on the left flank. It's not because Kieran Tierney is not a good defender. It's not because Zinchenko is not a good defender. It's because the way we use that left flank, we're more vulnerable from that position.
Well, I mean,
so Kane's going to be dropping into midfield and probably getting passes behind on the left side of Arsenal.
I think the thing is what Kane will probably do is maybe drop in maybe around Partey, like maybe just kind of in that kind of position. But the idea for me is Kane stays high, he stays up top and trust the midfield and the fullbacks, the wing backs to progress the ball. I think on the left hand side, in terms of Son and Perisic. He's been cash money for at least one big assist a game. Like, as in, Perisic is creating at least one very, very clear-cut chance a game. I'm excited to see Kulusevski back. Some of this guy's saying Saka's much better than Kulusevski. Kulusevski absolutely spins him in terms of stats. Since they've both been in the league, he scores. He's in terms of goals and assists. And people will say, well, Saka's was providing for Lacazette and Aubameyang last season, and I will take that on board. But if you watch the two of them play, they're slightly different types of players.
Let me me ask you this. Are we going to do goals and assists across the board for everything, or are we going to be keeping consistent and we're going to look at performances also?
Well, what do you mean, bro? Kulusevski was arguably the signing. Like when he came in January, he transformed Tottenham. Like he was one of the signings of the season. Yeah, and this season he's been injured, so it's not like he's played badly. Kulusevski. Let me check how many assists Kulusevski's got, considering he's been injured.
I'm just saying, if you want to talk about goals and assists this season, Son's been having a stinker based on goals.
Yes.
And you're comfortably able to say because of goals and assists, this guy.
Yeah, so Kula started like 7 games this season, and he's got 1 goal and 5 assists in 7 games. So the thing is, so all I'm saying to you is that
let's ask the non-biased guys. Let's ask the non-biased.
Because this is the thing about you, yeah. The thing is that you want to hype your guys, and I respect that. But Son is the reigning Golden Boot winner. Do you know what I mean? So I appreciate he's not been firing this season, but you're acting like he did fuck all last season as well.
I'm just saying, if you want to pick players based off of goals and assists, and you want
I'm not picking players based off that. I'm saying I don't think Martinelli has surpassed Son in terms of a player, but I think he's having a better season. I still think Son's a better player.
I think arguably Son is a very limited player, and Martinelli is more well-rounded.
Bro, your guy is a chaos merchant. Yeah, listen.
You can say Son is maybe a little bit limited. Maybe he's slightly one-dimensional. You can't say he's very one-dimensional.
Do you know what I mean?
Very one-dimensional is a totally that's a way out statement.
Bro, exactly. That's our point.
Limited. But you get what I mean.
Bro, look at how much ball Martinelli gets, and look at his output. He's doing all right. But he has a lot of ball.
Martinelli is a great player. He's a very good player. He's going to become a great player. He's going to become world class. He's probably this season, the promises season have shown that, and I'm really happy for the kid because I think I don't know. I've just liked him ever since the start. Probably because Liverpool were linked to him as well, but that's probably not going to happen now. But yeah, he's a really good player, and Saka's. I've got a lot of time for Saka as well.
Yeah,
I'm glad Arsenal are doing so well after. But Arsenal fans have taken so much shit over the last 5 years, 7 years, something like that. And it's always nice to have like a little, even if it's not me, it's nice to kind of see them having their own back a little bit. And I think that's fair enough. Tomorrow's game, or is it tomorrow or Sunday? Sunday, I think. Sunday.
Rakesh, you say that now until you play them, and then you're gonna have a
yeah, of course. No, look, I've said it before. I have a bit of a soft spot for Arsenal. I like the way the club is run and the history of the club and all that kind of stuff. But when Liverpool are playing Arsenal, let's fucking smash them like we normally do. But that's different. Yeah, that's a different story. It's going to be an interesting test for both Arsenal and Spurs, because obviously Spurs have not been playing particularly well, but it's improved. It seems like it's improved since. To
me, that Palace away game, it felt cathartic as a team, as in like that felt like a turning point in the season.
But we're not Palace.
Bro, I'm not saying you're Palace. I'm saying that in that game we had Bazuma suspended, we had Bentancur injured. Kulusevski was injured, Richarlison was injured, Lucas was out. So we were missing 5 players that would start. We had fucking Sarr and Skip playing in midfield and stuff like that. We had Gill on the wing, and we beat them 4-0. No matter what you look at, that's a huge result for the confidence of the dressing room and for the players. And even those younger players too, to be able to contribute to a win like that, it will build them hopefully and make them think, okay, maybe you can contribute.
And this is why I think that
say this, Rakesh, we're about to spend 90 million in January to improve our squad to try to compete for the league. Tottenham, what are you going to be doing to improve?
Bro, listen. So are Spurs not heavily linked to Porro? Are they not linked to Trossard? What do you even? Bro, listen. How do you even know that the guy that you're going to buy is going to be more effective than Trossard straight away? How do you know that Trossard won't add more value for this second 6 months of the season if we were to sign him?
I'm asking you a question. You got hella defensive. My question to you.
No, I didn't get defensive.
No, you did. You came out firing.
A little bit.
No, he came out and said, Arsenal are signing this player, what are Spurs
What
gonna
are
do?
you doing
What
about
are
it?
you going to do? I said, we're signing Trossard. What's to say that the player you're signing is going to have a
Wait,
better
are you
impact?
are
And
you
then he said,
guaranteeing?
oh, you're getting defensive. I said, what the fuck are you talking about?
No, who? Okay.
We're having a
Am I the
conversation.
aggressor here? I'm confused. Am I the aggressor here?
You are the aggressor. You're the gaslighter.
Okay, so
You're gaslighting me into thinking I've done something wrong.
so if you guys are signing
Igal, you're a
Leandro-
troublemaker, man. You're a
He's a
troublemaker,
troublemaker.
If you guys are signing
Mudryk
Leandro
is
Trossard,
65 million pounds up front, another 15 million. You Igal, you of the bald head descendancy will have the audacity to have a go at Man United and Anthony. It has absolutely nothing to do with anything, Rakesh. I just want to say it.
Fair enough.
Igal, you will have the audacity to go at United for buying Anthony. He's your Anthony. Can you believe that? He is your Anthony. Life comes at you fast, doesn't it? And now you're going to justify it with it's going to help you win the league. Yeah? And nobody's going to begrudge you that. But you were talking cap about how much United paid for Anthony. Would you like to repent in front of your friends and God?
One second. The reason Man United are getting pelters because don't act like we didn't make great signings before this. Man United made freaking terrible signings. They just paid for Sancho to play on the left, which they paid for a reasonably high fee also for him. So back-to-back players in the same position for a ridiculous amount of money is something you criticize somebody for. When you don't buy an attacker since Pepe for 72 million, since 2019, you haven't bought an attacker. Understandably so. We're going to start investing big money in the attack, as we did with Jesus, 45 million, and now Mykhaylo Mudryk. It's reasonable. It's reasonable, especially when you saved yourself millions and millions in 7 million deal for Martinelli. And Bukayo Saka developed from your youth academy, players that would now cost upwards of 100 to 70 million themselves. So I think we're able to spend that type of money based on the fact that we've been able to recruit well, develop our own players, and now we find ourselves in a situation where we can compete for the league and drop 90 million euros on a player who potentially might even sit on the bench and has the opportunity to be eased in instead of
Big
playing.
club, innit? Big club, big man, aren't you? You're a big man out here, aren't you?
Igal, but you also Arsenal have lost 240 million in the last 4 seasons.
But you know something, Rakesh? The owner,
I don't care.
The owner took it upon himself, said he's relieved the club of the stadium debt, took it as his own personal debt, and he's paying for it himself, not taking the club's money. The club,
but how much is left of the stadium debt? You built the stadium 25 years ago.
You've been playing that out for 20 years.
No, but the stadium debt being refinanced allows another 60 million.
How are you still paying for your stadium? You've been paying for it for so long.
Bro, you're going to be paying for your stadium for another 20 years.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's fair.
Hold on.
How are you still paying for it?
And then 1 second, we bought the stadium in 2006. This is fucking 2022, 2024 almost. 2024 season.
Yeah, I was like, you should be almost up. You must have paid it back by now.
You do realize Tottenham's going to be taking another friggin' 20 years to build off their stadium too.
But
forget about that. We're not accountants here.
Stop pocket watching,
let me just say this. Arsenal's debt and Arsenal's issues financially, we don't have any issues because what we've been doing, we've been making sure as a club, we've always had net cash reserves. We've never dipped into our net cash reserves. Once we got into the red, we had enough net cash reserves where we could still stay afloat.
Now it's net cash reserves.
No one's suggesting Arsenal are going to go bankrupt. You are going to stay afloat. No one's suggesting Arsenal are going to go bankrupt.
Arsenal pre-COVID had the most cash reserves because our owner and our club put away.
You know what I mean?
Anyways, Fatur, are you still there? Fatur, are you there?
Yeah.
What are you saying, bro?
Almost immediately disappears.
No, I'm lost.
He wants to be heard and not seen.
Yeah.
I was lost. What the hell is going on?
Listen, Tottenham, Arsenal. What are you saying? What's going to happen?
I think it's going to be a draw for me. I think it's going to be I'll be honest with you. And I think the factor as well is that whatever happens in that Manchester derby, let's say if City win, the pressure is on Arsenal. They have to win. Like if it's a draw, like it's anyone's game.
Listen, people saying Trossard is better than Mudryk. You can say whatever.
He's
You
not
can say
wrong.
whatever you guys
You
want.
gotta wait and see, right?
Miguel,
You gotta wait and see.
You're talking about a guy that's never played in the Premier League. Literally, this is a league that
Big up
that is
Zakaria.
well unknown anyway.
Yeah.
We
No,
never
but
watch
I'm-
Ashley anyway.
He
Who
could,
I-
he could be
watches
amazing.
the Ukrainian Premier League anyway these days? No one.
Yeah, but he could be amazing. The thing is that like
Yeah, you gotta wait and see.
Until
yeah.
he's
I
here,
don't.
you
I
don't-
don't listen. I've not seen this guy enough to have any opinion on him, like any meaningful opinion. Like he's gonna dazzle or he's gonna be shit. I am totally neutral on this guy. Like if Arsenal think that he's gonna help them win the league, sure. But I just want it to be known that United bought someone in Anthony, you know, who they thought who was a first team starter that they thought could get a lot better, and he was ridiculed for the price. And I'm like, obviously, Arsenal are paying this for a rotation piece. Credit to them, and they've got their finances in a place that they feel confident to do this. They want to build their squad out. I think it's a good signing. If Arsenal's ID has been very good over the last 2 seasons, so if Arsenal think that he's worth this money, law of averages says he's probably worth this money because the last 6, 7, 8 signings they made have all been pretty bang on. So I don't know. The only thing that can affect him for me is that they spent a bit too much on him, and the expectation from the fan base is going to be a little bit high, and then that's going to turn quite quickly if he's not immediately dazzling straight away. That's the only thing I think that they can really set him back for me. So I think Arsenal. I'm glad he's not here ready for this game. He should be here for United. But the thing with Arsenal for me is that Arsenal have shown a little bit of. They've shown that teams that play like Tottenham are going to line up on Sunday can get at Arsenal. You know what I mean? Counter-attack. I thought Newcastle had chances against Arsenal. Like, if they had more quality in the final third and they played better balls, they would have been in a couple of times. I saw the Wolves game that Arsenal won. Listen, Saliba should have been sent off. Like, they should have had a penalty. Like, there's games and moments that have happened where Arsenal have not fluked it. They deserve it. Like, most of the time they deserve it. But I don't know. It's just they're going to have to play a lot of the top 6 away in the second half of the season. And that's not been spoken about. Arsenal got to go Spurs away. Yeah. They're obviously going to play United at home. They're going to go to Liverpool away. Yeah. They're going to go to Newcastle away. They've got a lot of they're going to go City away, obviously. They've got to play City at home. Like, if you consider that you've got 20 games odd left of the season and 8 of them are going to be against the top 6, if you're substituting Newcastle, yeah? I'm just saying, yeah. For me personally, I would love it if Tottenham were the team to start the decline.
Beat them.
I need to beat them. I need to beat them. I need to beat them. That's what I need.
Yo, we're gonna talk about this tomorrow.
It's
I don't
new
want to.
fix.
I don't want to.
That crack that Conte's
Look at that voice. Do that
I
voice.
don't
Keep
want
doing
to.
that voice,
I
guy.
don't want to. I don't want to go crazy, but I'm just gonna tell you guys.
Go
Don't
crazy.
let Arsenal win this Premier League. You guys are gonna see what's gonna
Miguel,
happen.
Miguel, I'll say this. Let me say this real quick because obviously the Manchester derby is happening on Saturday. You guys are doing your thing on Sunday. I'm not going to say that this is a free hit. There's no free hits, right? But the one thing that Arsenal's been navigating with in this league has been no expectations. No spotlight's been put on you guys. No pressure's been set. No
That's not
teams that at this point in the season, absolutely, it's true. Now,
Pressure started from Wolves, from the Wolves game before the World Cup. Every single game after that, every single game, people are saying Arsenal's going to drop off. Arsenal's going to drop off. Every single game, there's 50 content creators saying this is the game Arsenal drops off. There's 100 people on Sky Sports, different applications saying this is the game Arsenal finally lose. Now people are realizing this is just who we are. And they stop.
Wolves bottom of the table.
Yeah, and
Stop.
people were still saying we're going to lose.
Let me say this.
Hey, that's a bit
Let me say
that's a
this.
bit mad.
I'm talking about the spotlight with regards to Arsenal's for real. We need to bring our game. We need to concede and maybe give up possession and bunker down defensively. We need to make it difficult for them. You haven't been facing that type of opposition yet. City's accustomed to it, right? Jay just brought up the point. Teams that kind of play like Spurs in terms of they're going to catch you on the counter, they're going to make it tough for a day. You've already shown for those to be your difficult matches. That's what you're going to be experiencing in heavy rotation this second half of the season. And the thing that I want to point out is all of these content creators and everyone talking about your downfall, that was because you suffered the Jesus injury. That's why they were saying now you guys are going to fall off. But for teams to now step up and be like, no, we're not making it easy for you, Arsenal. That's where it's going to be difficult. I see the pressure starting to get on to you guys. I'm going to see how this derby works out between the two.
Well, but they got the back-to-back because it's United at home next weekend too. The table will turn. The table can turn real quick with these next two games.
You know, obviously, you don't always have to beat the big teams to be right at the top of the table, but playing the big teams away is a bit of an indicator. And obviously, Arsenal, they've played United away, and whilst I thought they played pretty well, in that game. They obviously didn't come away with a victory. They lost the game. This is going to be a similar kind of challenge. Going away, some away grounds are more hostile and less hostile than others. But obviously, North London derby takes it to a different level. I think Arsenal can win. I'm not sure they will win. I'm not sure they need to win. If Arsenal get a draw, that's a fine result. That's in the bigger picture. That's an absolutely fine result because, you know, dropping a couple of points of Spurs, I think other teams like, you know, City have proved they're capable of that as well. And Jay's right, it's a bit of a bogey team. It's going to be a really interesting test for Arsenal and for everybody else who's questioning them and supporting them.
Let me just say this. We need to go through this quickly because we're going to try to wrap up the video now. Anybody going to watch anybody hear what the score line is for the Aston Villa Leeds game? I think Aston Villa won, right?
2-1.
2-1 Aston Villa.
Same points with us. Wow. Okay. We are in so much trouble.
What's the table looking like? Chelsea's tied for 11th right now. Yeah, it's mad. Okay.
10.
Yeah, you know, I had to make it worse. My bad.
Tied for 11th. He could have said 10th, but he decided to say tied for 11th.
You such. Oh my god, man! I hate you sometimes.
I'm sorry, Fatur. Okay, let's.
It's all right, man. It's all love.
Let's do these quickly. So we've already done Man City, Man United, Wolves, West Ham. Anyone gonna watch that? And what's your score predictions? Just start shooting them out.
I'll say.
You know what? I think Wolves gets a result.
Battle of the bad boys, isn't it?
Yeah, Wolves win.
I say 0-0 draw. That sounds like a dead game.
I'll say 1-1.
I see even 1-0. 1-0 Wolves.
Nottingham Forest have been on good form. Jay, they're going to beat Leicester.
Derby though. That is some derby.
Say again.
Forest going to beat Leicester. Leicester have been shit lately.
Leicester have been shit, and I'm liking Gibbs White.
It's Midland's derby, bro. That one. That's
Everton and Southampton. That's whoever loses that game is very close to being sacked.
I get that, but guys, let's be honest. This derby stuff, they care, but it's not going to be a situation where it's going to change their performances. Their performances have been.
Yeah, but it's more of a pride girl. I feel like
Leicester's pride is out the window, bro. Jamie Vardy's looking 45. Have you guys seen how they're playing lately? They're playing.
Yeah, I saw Leicester.
I saw Leicester is bad, but I don't know if one game.
Yeah. No, listen. Hold on. The people saying. Sorry, I'm just reading some of these comments, and people think that we're not trying to park the bus against you. You know, like listen, we could come out here and beat you head to head. We don't need to do that.
We'll save that for tomorrow. We'll get in depth tomorrow. For now, let's just allow it. Forget about. So we already spoke about Liverpool, Brighton, Liverpool, Everton, Southampton. Anyone gonna watch that?
I think if Lampard loses, he loses his job. So there's nice stakes on that game.
That's the Lampard sacking game.
I need Everton to win, man. I can't stand Prime's timeline, stinking up timeline, man. I just can't.
Okay, so the Chelsea fan base still has a big agenda against Lampard. I can tell. Brentford, Bournemouth. Brentford wins surely.
Brentford, yeah, Ivan Toney. I forgot Ivan Toney suspended, isn't he? Yeah.
Is he
Is
back?
he suspended yet?
No, he's not. But no, is he back from injury? Because he
No,
was
he's
injured,
still
wasn't he?
injured.
Still injured.
Ivan Toney's still injured.
Ivan Toney's
I
still injured.
haven't heard any update. Let's be honest. The moment he gets suspended, it's going to be massive news.
I'll say 1-0 Brentford.
He's set to start against Brentford, actually.
When are they going to decide on his gambling thing? Man's just out here bagging up doubles, trebles, and fucking, accumulators.
When they find out he bet another 20, that's when they're going to get him.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on. Chelsea, Crystal Palace, we already spoke about. Newcastle, Fulham. Newcastle, surely, right?
Yeah, Fulham will do all right, but Newcastle should slide. Oh, it'll be a good game, actually. And Newcastle will edge it.
Okay. Anyways, that's it for now. You guys have.
What was your prediction for Tottenham Arsenal?
We're going to talk about that tomorrow. Don't even worry.
So you're not even going to offer a prediction today in front of God and your witness? Hold on. These you can't be. Look at him. He's providing content. He's like, listen, subscribe to more content. These are busy people, Igal. I'm not saying that they shouldn't subscribe tomorrow, but surely they'd like to know whether or not you think you're going to win.
We're going to win. It's small margins.
You're going to win.
Yeah, it's going to be.
You're coming to our stadium and you're going to win.
Tell by Igal's lineup and the new fade, he thinks he's going to win.
Small margins.
Okay.
But
all right, Igal. Listen, I'll say this on this one. Spurs win this weekend. Maybe even Arsenal get somebody sent off. Like that, the way they're behaving.
Arteta's gonna get sent off.
The way Arsenal are behaving when decisions aren't going for them, it's not sustainable for them not to get a red card.
Mykhaylo Arteta red card is coming eventually.
Definitely. Do you reckon it'll come this weekend?
I wouldn't be surprised. Craig Paulson, he hates both our teams. It's fair.
Just the last one on the game. Do you think, like, obviously, I think Zinchenko in possession, great player. Do you think for us that's he's our way in?
You know what? Zinchenko is not the weak link there's no real weak link in our team. Our team is solid. The way that we perform, the way that we do our things, we leave that area open because the Zinchenko's so high up the pitch. It's not that he's a defensive weak link. It's just the way that we play. That is predominantly where people get the most joy.
Okay, fair enough. And you are confident that you're going to end the hoodoo. This is the year that you're going to come to our stadium and beat us.
You know what? We're leaving with something minimum. That's what I'll tell you.
No, you're not. You're leaving with nothing.
You better get 3 points, Igal.
No, that's what you're losing to us. And listen, next week, depending on what United do versus City, because I'm not sure whether they've got a little something for you, Veta. But
hey, all right.
I'm going with City. I'm going with City. I think that City are going to beat. I think City beat United and I think Spurs beat Arsenal, and it just reinvigorates everything. And then next week,
I'm seeing the
all
same
right, peace out, people. I'll tell you this. We'll catch you tomorrow. Jay's going to be on. We're going to have a couple of Tottenham Arsenal preview. It's going to be feisty. You guys have yourselves a wonderful day. This has been a great stream. Big up Rakesh. Big up Fatur for coming on. Big up to Vader. Big up to Fez, who also joined in. And every single one of you guys who's watching. Really do appreciate it. Make sure you do hit the like button on the way out and have yourselves a wonderful day. Peace.
Bless.